Every time we mention IVs in a video, we get a ton of questions. So I want to use this episode to explain how everything works when it comes to stats, IVs, and CP. It's going to be a dense episode full of a lot of information, but it's all useful. And to be honest, understanding this will be a prerequisite to understanding a lot of things we talk about in the future. We've explained different parts of this information in previous videos, but I wanted to have one video that completely explains everything so we could point to it as a starting point for understanding advanced strategies and mechanics in Pokemon Go. Rather than just telling you which Pokemon have the highest CP, I'm going to explain how CP is calculated, so even after possible changes and future updates, you'll have a sense of where Pokemon's strength comes from. There are a few different terms that I'm going to have to define for all this to make sense. In Pokemon Go, there are 3 hidden variables that affect CP. They are base stats, individual values or IVs, and level. Let's start with level. In Pokemon Go, each Pokemon has a hidden level, and the 2 visible indications of that level are the current position of its CP arc and the amount of Stardust required to power it up. Starting at level 1, each time you power a Pokemon up, it gains half a level. Take a look at your starter Pokemon if you still have it. If you haven't powered it up, it should still be level 1. The dot on its CP arc will be all the way to the left, and it should cost 200 Stardust to power up. As you power up a Pokemon, you'll notice that the dot on its CP arc moves farther to the right. This indicates that a Pokemon's level is increasing. After you've powered it up 4 times, the Stardust cost to power it up again will increase. At this point, the Pokemon has gained 2 levels. Remember, each time you power it up, it gains half a level. The only way to know your Pokemon's exact level is to power it up until the Stardust cost changes. At this point, you're at the lowest possible level of that Stardust cost range. You can use the chart in the description to find the level ranges for each Stardust cost. But to be honest, you won't ever need to know the exact level of your Pokemon. You've probably noticed that if you max out a Pokemon's CP, its position on the arc appears to go down when you level up. This is because a Pokemon's maximum level is equal to your current trainer level plus 1.5. Each time you level up as a trainer, you can raise your Pokemon's level by 1, meaning you can power it up 2 times. Out of all that, the most important thing to know is that each Pokemon has a level, and it increases every time you power it up. Now we can move on to base stats. In Pokemon Go, each Pokemon has 3 base stats: attack, defense, and stamina. A higher attack stat means the Pokemon deals more damage in battle. A higher defense stat means the Pokemon receives less damage, and a higher stamina stat means the Pokemon will have higher HP. Let's compare a couple Pokemon as examples. Arcanine has base stats of 230, 180, and 180. Rapidash's base stats are 200, 170, and 130. Assuming both Pokemon are the same level, if they were to use a move with the same power, Fire Blast for example, the Arcanine would deal more damage because its attack stat is higher. If they were to be attacked by the same Pokemon using the same move, Rapidash would take slightly more damage because its defense stat is lower. And at the same level, Arcanine will have more HP because its stamina stat is higher. Base stats are set for every species of Pokemon. That means every Arcanine will have the same 230, 180, 180 spread, and every Rapidash will have the same 200, 170, 130 spread. A Pokemon's CP is a direct result of its base stats multiplied by its level. The actual formula is a lot more complicated, but I've simplified it to better illustrate how it all works. You may have noticed that 2 Pokemon of the same species at the same level can have different CP and HP. The reason for that is the 3rd variable, individual values, commonly called IVs. IVs are a hidden stat modifier that can range from 0 to 15. Each Pokemon has 3 IVs, 1 for each stat: attack, defense, and stamina. IVs get added to a Pokemon's base stats before calculating CP, so a Pokemon with higher IVs will have higher CP. IVs are random for every Pokemon, and can vary between Pokemon of the same species. Let's take a look at 3 different possible combinations for an Arcanine. The first one has a value of 0 for each stat. The second has a value of 7, and the third has a value of 15 for all of its IVs. The Arcanine with 7 for its IVs represents the average Arcanine. The two with 15 and 0 represent the best and worst possible Arcanines. If we add these values to its base stats, we get 3 different Arcanines with 3 different stat totals. At the same level, these 3 Arcanines would all have different CP, but you can see that the difference between the 3 isn't that big. The best Arcanine is only 4% stronger than the average Arcanine and 8% stronger than the worst Arcanine. This relates to its power in that the best Arcanine will deal 4% more damage, receive 4% less damage, and have 4% more HP than the average Arcanine. Because having perfect IVs makes such a small difference, sometimes it's better to prioritize having the right moveset over having perfect IVs. For example, an Arcanine with the ideal moveset of Fire Fang and Fire Blast will deal 35% more sustained damage per second than an Arcanine with the worst moveset, Bite and Bulldoze. We'll go into the details of choosing the right moveset in a future video, but for now I've linked to a spreadsheet in the description that ranks Pokemon by their movesets and their damage output. So now that you understand how CP is calculated, you can see why Pokemon of the same level can have such wildly different CP totals. Our friend Arcanine's base stat total is 590, and its maximum possible CP is 2984, while poor Onix's base stat total is just 346, and its maximum possible CP is only 857. It's possible that the CP formula or Pokemon's base stats will be changed in future updates, but for now, and probably then, some Pokemon are just stronger than others. The spreadsheet in the description also has a tab that lists Pokemon's base stats and their possible CP ranges. And if you want a more visually appealing list, I've also linked to the Sylph Road's research section, which has the same information. A lot of what we talk about in future videos will build off of the information we covered today, so make sure you put some effort into understanding it. I know it's confusing, so if you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments or hit us up on Twitter, and we'll answer them either with a response or in a future video. So, as always, thank you guys for watching, thank you for the support, and we'll see you in the next episode. Hey guys, I know this video is coming up kinda late. It's already almost 9:20. Normally I have these uploaded by now, but yesterday just kinda got away from me. So after 3 hours of sleep, I woke up early and came out to shoot this video for you guys. I'm gonna start editing now and hopefully get it uploaded soon, so I can take a nap and then go out and shoot another episode for tomorrow. And also I just want to say thank you for the amazing response to yesterday's video. I was a little worried, I didn't know how it was going to be received, but you guys were so overwhelmingly positive, and that's a really beautiful thing to see. So thank you so much for that. I'm glad I could inspire some of you to go visit your grandparents or maybe some lost loved ones. So again, just thank you so much for that. See you guys soon. As you guys might know, most cemeteries are Pokestop hotspots, so it can be really tempting to come in here and just farm Pokestops all day, but I just want to stress that you guys really need to be respectful. This is kind of a special place for some people, so, you know, be courteous, be sensible, be respectful. Don't walk over tombstones. I thought that was kind of just common sense, but you'd be surprised. So there are a lot of Pokestops, but there's also a lot of other stuff going on here. So that's the reason we brought the flowers, is that besides just stocking up on items and eggs, we're also here to pay some respects to people. It's nice to give yourself a reason to be there, other than just to play the game.